you are?
I'm Paul. I play bass.
Mike, drums.
I'm Mike. Rhythm guitar and some of the vocals.
Tyler, I sing and play guitar.
Okay, what's the band name?
Tomatoes and
Radio
wires.
All right, so we're going to talk about social causes this time. Why don't you guys tell us what you think the situation in the world is right now, as we speak? What do you think?
Well, right now the situation in the world is obviously different in a lot of different places, you know. I mean, my house to your house is a lot different, you know. I think my house is nice and happy. Your house could be crazy. You know, the United States could be in good shape. Some places in Africa, you know, you could say are not as fortunate. The media is very often biased because, you know, a happy, heartwarming story is not nearly sexy enough for the news, you know. So to get an accurate picture of the world, you would really have to travel and see for yourself. There are certainly highs and lows everywhere you go, you know. And I'm sure the polar bears are kind of sad right now if we're really getting warmer.
That was quality BS.
Can you edit that out?
that was a good way of not answering.
Yeah, also, edit out anything that he says.
Yeah, whenever I open my mouth, let's just like use that as a point to just cut the phone.
Okay, well, it's 2009, and as we're airing this, it's...
well, there's no nuclear war. I mean, it can't be any worse than that. We're still alive.
Yeah, but aren't we like 2 minutes to midnight, though?
It's 5 minutes to midnight.
It's 5 right now.
What are we, boys like girls? Now?
I believe that's Lincoln Park.
That's boys like boys.
What?
Boy.
All right.
Anyways.
Sorry.
So, social cause.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you guys selected a social cause or social causes?
Yes, we picked a cause.
A single cause.
Yes.
Which cause did you pick?
Fair trade.
Fair trade. Okay. So what exactly is fair trade?
All right. Well, fair trade.
It's the alternative to free trade, which is pretty good, but not good enough.
Fair trade. The basis of fair trade is giving everybody in the economy a free shot at getting the proper prices and stuff like that. For example.
It's mostly for underdeveloped
For example, if Ethiopia is selling something, you know, some schmuck can come in there and buy it at a low price because, you know, if you're selling in Ethiopia, you don't got any chance to be like, well, I'm going to set the price high, you know? No one's going to buy. So then the middleman comes in, makes a killing off of you, and then goes into the regular global economy and sells it at a regular price and makes this huge killing, which keeps any smaller economic power stuck at the bottom. So the point of fair trade is to work with buyers and sellers to bring everybody to the same level so that people who have less economic power are more able to grow their economies, and that way everybody is better off in theory.
And its effects are amazing on what it does for the farmers in like Ethiopia and other places.
Ecuador is one country.
Yeah, it really helps them be more than just farmers. It gives them extra money they can use to help. It's better for the environment. They're allowed to send their children to schools. If anything bad happens to the family, they're not like completely scred out of anything.
It also stimulates their own country's
economy. Like what can happen, and the really bad things is when like a family who sells things for such a low price, say a member of their family gets really sick and can't work anymore, or there's a drought or a flood or anything happens where something's going to happen to their product where they can't make enough, they're pretty much screwed, and it helps, you know, prevent that too.
They do, yeah. They provide compensation for a lot of things, you know, whereas a lot of times in a regular economy you just get the price you paid to make the product, and a lot of times they'll compensate for anything else, you know, for living costs or stuff. So it really helps out a lot in you know, socially.
It takes third world countries out of the subsistence level.
And it's also good for companies, like the large companies. It's pretty surprising. The thing that surprised me most about fair trade is you'll always see that little sticker, the black and white, with the guy standing there with coffee beans or whatever. And they actually found out people are more willing to buy stuff that are fair trade, even though it costs a little bit more. So companies that went into fair trade actually found out they're increasing their sales that way and actually making more money.
As much as the media would like us to believe, you know, people really are good, and you give them a chance to be good, they really will be.
Yeah. And a lot of the focus goes on more natural products, like many of the people that are working under the fair trade are selling coffee, they're selling cocoa, it's fresh fruit, it's a lot of natural things instead of
it's mostly farmers
products.
that are the ones being affected.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you guys have any examples that you could say this is an example of this working right now as we speak?
There are coffee shops, of course, that have. I know a supermarket in like California. They decided. I think they're one of the big ones who started. I can't remember any names, but everything they sell there is fair trade, like the coffee, the fruit, everything, and it's just because they care, and it works out really well.
And they said, what was it, like 1 to 20% of a lot of goods that you see like in the market end up actually being fair trade. And what was it like?
It's not a lot, but it's
pretty good.
It's a start, and
Yeah,
it
it's definitely a
certainly
start.
it helps out, and helps out a lot for the people who are selling and involved in the fair trade process.
Okay, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to stand right now where we are and look back at the past generations, what would you say to the previous generations, either good or bad, about how they handled things in the world that they left for you guys?
You can really nitpick, and there are some major things you can complain about, but overall, we're always doing better.
Hindsight's
It's great.
always 20/20. I mean,
if you look,
there'll be people who look back at us and go, idiots, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Like 50 years ago, like civil rights obviously happened, and we're improving. We're always getting better,
Democracy is a process.
Yeah. I always think that, we're always going to have change no matter what, and there's good change and there's bad change, but no matter what, there's always going to be more good change than bad change. So, yeah.
Okay. You guys brought up what the generation that's coming up after you guys is going to look back and think of as you guys. But if you could stand here right now and give a message to that generation, the next generation of following after you guys, because let's face it, 20 years from now, and look back, everything you're doing right now is going to be retro to that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think you're
I have
going to
a
give to them, or what would you like to say to
I
them?
have a piece of advice. Buy a house that you can afford.
Yes.
Live below your
below your
means.
means.
Not
Pay
below.
attention to the interest rates on your house.
Vote!
They will
Vote.
Get informed
Or
and
die.
vote. It's amazing. We actually had the highest voting rate in like a huge amount of time.
Yeah.
Like the most amount of youth have voted this year since they first were able to, which is amazing. And we need to keep that up.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Because
also-
democracy doesn't work if people don't look up things and think and vote. It doesn't matter who you vote for, so long as you're educated and actually do it.
Man, make sure you're educated.
Make sure if you
That
vote,
would
you
be
make an
good.
educated vote. Not just vote, but make an
Yeah, and
educated
no
vote.
matter what choice you make, it's all about knowing what you're voting for.
Right.
And,
Because you
on a-
can't argue, some morals to an extent.
And of
Don't
course-
take anything. Look into it. Don't take anyone's word. Look into it for yourself.
And like on a personal level, always be happy. That's the other thing is everything on some level is, selfish. Not in a bad way, but, if it makes you happy, go for it. If it's your job, if it's anything, as long as there's always, a trade-off,
Right.
Not paying for food makes me happy too, but going to jail makes me really unhappy.
You gotta compare the marginal costs and the marginal benefits
Yeah.
of each.
But,
when the
It's been
marginal
baked into
benefit
Yeah,
wins.
just, make sure, be happy.
Right. Anything else you'd like to say before we wrap it up for this week?
Bash variance again.
It has to be about a social cause.
What's variance is social cause? I did that out.
What are you doing?
I blew it.
So, the last episode, if I remember correctly, you guys invited James to be in your band. And
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
How'd
Yeah.
that work out?
Well, we called him and we wanted to know if he was going to come and be here, and
He
said
never returned
he said
the
he had like dinner at his parents' house or something like that.
Okay.
Which is actually his house
He was
as well.
having family over
Okay.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But he did
Just
come
give
by
us-
for rehearsal with the kazoo, but
Yeah. Is he any good?
he didn't practice.
No.
We gave him the music like 2 weeks ahead of time, and
never-
we
Really?
called him.
He never
yeah.
learned it. He just
He bought a cheap kazoo. That was the
Because he was
problem.
walking around here saying
Really,
he
it was a really lousy tone. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
He said he was the Jimi Hendrix of kazoo players.
Well, he didn't
I
hook it
did
up
not
to the
see a
big
flame.
mic.
The problem is
kazoo.
he doesn't want to be a Jimi Hendrix of kazoo. Did Jimi Hendrix ever play kazoo?
I doubt
Probably
that.
not.
I
Probably
really
not.
doubt he played
and that's,
kazoo.
And it showed.
Okay.
It showed.
Okay.
I'll be frank. It
So is
showed.
he out of the band then? Is he officially
Well,
out
I
of
mean,
the
we're
band?
gonna.
Well, I think I'd give him a second chance.
Tyler and Mike Thomas are still having a love triangle with him. So
makes it a little awkward sometimes at band practice when he stares at him a little bit more than me. But I guess I just need to move on.
I have a heart too.
No,
You don't understand
You
that.
took mine. That's why you have one.